There we go. Hey, and howdy, folks. Coach Mike Mack here on the Drive podcast. Here with Whiskey Geo, my brother. we
What's going on, my man? We're
oh
gonna have okay.
we're gonna have a huge ball today. We with this topic came about yesterday, right? So here we go. Let's see if I can do the title, okay? From memory. You just said it a little bit ago because we chit chat, but rage at the red light triggers, text, and temporary insanity.
Talking about veins start bulging out of the neck, and we start freaking out and losing our fucking mind.
Okay, I lost my mind. Okay, let me start with a story because my ex left without any warning. I did not know where she went. Took the kids with her. I was freaked. Okay, for weeks I did not know where she was. Okay, when I finally found out where she was, I went over there as kind of a dumbass move because of what happened, because I got super pissed off. Okay? Punched a hole in the wall, just said some stuff that I should not have said. Went out of the house, got in my pickup, and I was super mad. And what it actually ended up becoming was ammo for the gun that they had, the smoking gun. And, of course, back then I blamed her for pulling the trigger, and I'm the one that gave the ammo. So, so let's start with there. Okay, that's my...
Let's start off with the usual disclaimer.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
This is not legal advice. We are not attorneys. We are two guys that have been through the ringer, have survived, are thriving, and want to share with our brothers on how to navigate divorce, how to navigate separation,
Absolutely,
custody, divorce proceedings, and how the entire procedure is.
All the stuff. And so today's topic, I mean, it hits hard. I mean, I think back, I can still feel it sometimes when because I got so mad. And I'm not a guy that gets that way much. I'm pretty easygoing.
Everyone has their limit, Mike.
That's true. That's true.
So here's the thing.
That is very true.
Certain behaviors are done to trigger you. And at the very beginning, it fucking works because we see our world crumbling around us.
Yes.
And you can only poke the bear so much before he wakes up. In the movie Four Brothers, there's a line, the Mark Wahlberg movie, where the one cop goes, if you keep knocking at the devil's door long enough, at a certain point, he's going to answer you.
Yep. I remember that.
And if somebody's continuously pounding on your door, at a certain point, you're going to react. It takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of willpower to stay calm.
Oh, geez. For sure.
And when we fall for this shit and we react, you said it, Mike. She's got the gun. You're giving her the bullets.
And then I blame her, when she's pulling the trigger. I mean, I gave her the shit, and she made me stink.
We live in a society where, again, 15% one side, 15% the other side. We're dealing with the 70% in the middle.
Yep.
What happens is when we react strongly, specifically as men, it could come back and bite you in the ass hard.
Could be, I mean, she didn't, but there could have been a restraining order. There could have been some stuff because
Mike, I see it at least 3 times a week.
The way that I blew up, it could have happened that way. It didn't. It didn't. God bless her. She didn't take it that direction. Maybe they had, I don't know. I wasn't privy to conversation. The lawyer might have said, "Hey, we could do this." I don't know exactly what went on,
And
but
oftentimes it ends up going.
she could have, because of the way I reacted to the stuff that she had said, and it just, and so, yeah, and like I look back now and I can think that, what happened was, I let that rage drive me instead of, because rage, and I don't know if you're, how much you're into Tony Robbins. I love Tony Robbins. One of the things he talks about is emotions. He defines emotions as energy in motion. And he says the most powerful, I love this part, the most powerful force on the earth are emotions that are consciously directed. So that we're driving. So because that rage, when I left it not being able to control it, it's energy. It's powerful energy. And it's energy that can destroy, or it's energy that you can use to build.
Yeah, because don't forget something, and stop me if you've heard me use this line in the
Let's
past.
let's do it.
Marriage is love, divorce is business,
It's business. Yep.
right? So people will use every tactical advantage possible against you. And the thing is that you can react to it and it's bait, and if you fall for it, you're going to pay the price. Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
My second divorce included a company going in bankruptcy. Included a lot of different details, right? And I disappeared from the limelight. I retreated. She was making posts about, separation, and now single mom, and now this, and now that. And it was all targeted to get me to react.
To get you to react, not respond.
React.
React.
That's huge, Mike. There's a difference between respond and react.
Exactly.
So it was trying to go after my emotions to try and get me to react. And the thing is that if you react in public, there's the old line of don't argue with an idiot in public. People don't know who the dumb one is. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not saying that my ex-wife is an idiot. Okay.
You didn't say that.
But she used the web to try and goat me into reacting, not responding, into reacting. And I didn't give it to her.
Right.
Even to this day, divorce papers aren't signed. There's nothing between us. They should just be signed and move on. But I keep on getting these delay notices. It's trying to get me to react.
To react. Yeah.
I'm not reacting. I have a lawyer. I paid an expert. They're going after it.
It's a business.
What should have been $1,000 divorce is costing me a fuck ton more, but it is what it is. But when you're in the heart of it, especially when it comes to the kids, you need to learn every communication that you do, pretend you're in front of the judge.
Ooh, there you go. There you go.
Pretend you're in front of the judge.
Because you're giving ammo. It is going to end up, it's better for it to be guarded, to be directed, not.
I'm coming over to get the kids. She'll claim to be scared. Protective order. Fuck you, bitch. this and that, and every possible fucking term that you could throw out there.
How did you know that's the wording I used back 20 years?
Because it's the same one that every guy uses. You know?
Ouch.
There's even give me a sec. Give me a sec. I gotta give this to you guys.
Oh boy.
There's a song by Wheeler Walker. Okay, if you want to ever hear country comedy, listen for a guy called Wheeler Walker, and he comes out with a song called "Fuck You, Bitch,"
Oh geez.
and it's exactly about a breakup,
Oh my goodness.
right?
I'm not familiar. So now say it again. Wheeler
Walker.
Wheeler Walker.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what I'll do is when this is posted afterwards, I'll put a link in the comments.
Throw a link in the comments. You bet.
But it's those texts that end up being used as ammunition against you.
Exactly.
Right? Because
bullets.
Even if you're the most docile man, you write something like that, she says, "Oh, he was aggressive towards the end." You're giving the ammunition for a protective order.
Right.
Right? And what happens is for guys, for any of you guys who have followed us from the beginning and knows about like getting a lawyer and knowing that it's expensive, yet it's an investment. The divorces that I've seen where guys have hesitated to get a lawyer and then hire an attorney for a protective order, then need the divorce. This is not scientific, Mike, but we're looking at ×2 on the overall bill.
I'm sure. I mean,
it's ×2. Look, guys are not guys are analytical, right? Guys never learned, I always say guys never learned how to recognize their emotions. Guys never learned how to talk about their emotions. Guys never learned how to deal with their emotions.
And then when
your world comes crumbling down.
Yep. I was just going to say, when the wreckage happens and now you're in a life that you did not expect and the emotions are huge. I mean, just huge.
And we see it in the group because we have to verify all the posts before they go on.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of shit where we're like, even in this group where it's just men, it's like, dude, you cannot be posting this on social media.
Right. Yeah. I've seen. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen. Or we both see them. I mean, I don't see all of the posts, and I'm sure you probably don't see all. There's a lot of posts that come through, and there's quite a few that get, declined because, they're not. I'm not sure the word there. They're not appropriate for a support type group. Let's put it that way.
No. And guys, I don't know where you guys are at. Everyone's at different spots in their proceedings.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
triggers, texts, and temporary insanity. Triggers, don't forget, you loved this woman. You were vulnerable with this woman.
Yep.
You know what love is, Mike?
What is love?
Love is giving the woman a gun, putting it in her hands, pointing it at your face, and hoping to God that she doesn't pull the trigger. But as you go through this and she learns all the shit that makes you tick positively and makes you tick negatively, it gets used against you. And you gotta be ready for that. Text messages.
Well, the thing about text, okay, so we can see each other's. We're video. We can say something nasty and say it with a smile, but you can't do that in text, right? So
no, you can't. And here
you're missing some tone. You're missing.
So here's another example, and I don't know why I'm inspired with videos today. Okay, so Bill Burr, who's a comedian, has this skit where he talks about women saying no. No is no. And he's like, but not really. He's like, there's a difference between no and okay, that's fine. But when the girl goes, no, stop it. What are you doing? This and that, right? The no is actually a yes, right? When it's playful and there's an understanding of, right? I'm not talking, like, there's a difference between no,
Big
and
difference.
no, stop
No,
it. You're cute, and whatever, right? He goes, but
no.
that shit gets lost in translation if ever you go to court, right? Because when they
You
read
know,
it back, they're like, no, stop it. No, please. Don't. And the guy's freaking out of court. He's like, that's not how she said it. But text messages don't have emotions, don't have
emotions
feelings.
don't have tone. They don't have,
So,
body language. They don't
so
have.
when you're texting, imagine it's the, I don't know what the name is. It's but the one that's in court and taking the notes.
The
It,
stenographer,
the
right? The
stenographer.
stenographer.
Imagine it's the stenographer reading back the text in court. No emotions.
Okay,
No,
so
stop it. No, come on. Like, right?
we need to pause for just a second because I've learned a few things. And I don't even know what coaching programs you've gone through, Gio. I know I've been through a couple different ones. One of the things that I learned that has been very helpful for me has been, well, here, let me tell you a quick story. Uh, Back when I first started trucking, I trucked for a ranch. Started at 3:30 in the morning, loaded up a load of hay, headed for Vegas, 9 hours away. Got there, busy time to get a parking spot. Okay, and I did what I normally would do. I wait because I'm not going to park out on the wherever. So I wait because I know night drivers are going to be taking off. So I wait for about 45 minutes. The guy comes out. We do the head nod like you're waiting for a spot. I'm like, yep. He pulls out. I set up to back in, and a pickup and trailer nose in and take my damn parking spot. Okay. I sit there for a second. And this is the pause I want you to realize. And I'm tired. This is 9 o'clock at night. I am freaking tired. And I do something I don't normally do. I am so pissed. I jump out of the cab. I go back there. And my first thought was I'm going to jerk him out of the seat and I am going to back his rig out of my parking spot. Okay. And I get back there and he's like twice my size. Okay. I'm a big guy. And then I changed. I said, look, and I'm screaming at him. I said, by the time I get back to my rig, you better be out of my fucking parking spot. And his eyes got big and I just stormed back. By the time I got back to my rig, thank God, he backed out of my spot. I got my spot. Okay. Now that to me, I wasn't going to beat his ass. I wasn't going to, it could have went a different way. I just said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I directed it some, but that space when he wronged me, right? He took my spark. That's the way I saw it. I waited for it. I nodded the guy left. I set up for it. There's going to be a space, guys. And in that little space, you have the choice to react or take a breath and respond. It doesn't matter if it's a text, it doesn't matter if it's a in-person conversation. That little space, that little sliver of time is key. Okay,
Yeah.
it's gonna be there. It's going to be there, and you'll notice it. It takes practice.
It
it
absolutely takes practice. And this goes back to the shows where we talked about taking care of your mental health, how to, right? It's funny how every one of our shows relates to the other ones, right?
back to it. It just kind of all fit together, don't they?
Yeah, and there's an interesting point what you said. Like in your case, you said like the guy was twice your size.
Yeah.
Guys, let's not forget something. In the majority of cases, you're more than likely bigger and stronger than your woman. Now, this is not a sexism thing. This is not a whatever. I am 5'10". 235 pounds, got a decent shape to me, tattoos, beard. I had a lady the other week an old lady that I held the door open for her, and she looked at me and she goes, "You look like a killer with a soft heart."
I remember you saying that. Was it last week?
Yeah.
I think you said the same thing.
So the thing is that your reactions plus your body size make it very difficult for the police and the courts to take your side.
Absolutely.
Again, fuck you, bitch. I'm coming over to take the kids, and you look like me. That's threatening.
It's threatening. Very threatening.
Right?
Great.
So
Right there.
it's going to drive you nuts. I've got people that before they do something stupid, they call me. They ask me for my permission to attack, or I try to deflate them.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
Yeah, because I'd say in about 99.8% of the cases, I get them to back off. There's that 0.2% where they actually come at me logically and we're able to attack it. But at the end of the day, you're going into a fight where somebody knows how your head works.
Oh, isn't that true? Isn't that true? Not just for the good. They know the truth. They know how to
Okay, so let's get open and raw. In my last marriage, when there was a situation where there was a threat of going down the highway at a high speed and taking a substance, I made a decision, temporary insanity, based on a trigger, block the access path out of the house. Because in my mind, temporary insanity, I'd rather be punished for blocking you going out than getting a call from the cops and saying that they're scraping your body off of the fucking side of the road.
Right.
And then a friend of mine told me, well, if she calls the cops, no, stop it. They're not going to give a fuck. I blocked access. So I had to learn to control the trigger. I had to learn to keep my sanity about me and be like, baby, if that's what you want to do, go. I'll be the asshole in her story. Mike, I'll be the asshole in her story. I know where I went wrong. And in shows and in posts, I've admitted it. I don't hold back. I don't say that, in either one of my divorces or any of my breakups that like I was free and clear. Like I've had my share of shit and we all do.
We all do. There's nobody that's perfect. There's no relationship that's perfect.
But at a certain point, if they want to leave.
And
At a
release them
certain
with
point,
love. We got to
release them with love.
We got to say that because I love that little phrase right there.
Release them with love. And let's, again, I'll say it. Still have love for me. That love doesn't turn off.
Right.
She's made a decision that makes it that we can no longer be together. And there's no coming back from her decision. I don't have an ounce of hate for her. I get random updates even though I don't want them.
Right.
And all I'm like is, I hope to God that she finds happiness and peace.
For sure.
and again, I'm not going to get religious or political, but when I pray at night, I pray for all those around me that I love, but also for those who have wronged me or have passed through in my life.
It reminds me of my grandfather. My grandfather always, in his prayers, would say something very similar to what you just said. And that's awesome. It kind of gives me a little chill there of remembering my grandfather and how, he would say something very similar to that.
You got to learn to release her with love. And when you release her with love, that's when the triggers die.
Ooh, there we go.
Because now what happens is you understand hurt people hurt people. Listen to that again. Hurt people hurt people. Even if she's the one that decided to leave, she's hurt. And so are you. So now you have a decision to make. Are you going to explode towards each other and make this thing worse? Or are you going to release with love and ignore what it is that they say? And, whenever I do divorce coaching or for my law firm clients, often I'll have like follow-up calls with them and see how they're doing. And
right.
Sometimes I'll get these texts, and I got one this week. It's like, look what she posted. She posted that I cheated on her and da 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 da. And the ex had 75 likes, 140 comments. I gotta respond to this. No, you don't.
No. In fact, if you go back to one of our first podcast episodes talking about blocker and protecting your peace, then there's a way to be able to have the group around you. And I appreciate this very much. This that you're talking about, Gio, has helped me to be able to have the people around you. And it's a principle, right? The people that you have around you, if you want to get better, you don't want to have those that are, if you want to get financially better, then you need to be around people that are financially better than you.
Yeah.
Right? Because is it the average of the 5? Is it the 5 closest? Am I thinking right?
Yeah, the 5 people that are closest around you determines like who you are as a person. And what I tell these people is take a look at everyone that's putting comments and support to the other person. Is this really the kind of person that you want in your life?
Bingo.
And the answer 99% of the time is no. And I'll take it a step further. When the separation happened the second time, I had 1,500 friends on Facebook. I'm down to like 118. She's got 1,500. And when she posts, she gets, tons of likes and tons of comments. And I'm like, none of you are the ones that I want at my table because none of you know the background story. None of you are smart enough to ask what's actually gone on. None of you are smart enough to challenge the information. So if all of you want to paint me as the asshole, go for it. I'm not reacting. Because what's going to happen if I put a comment on that post, be like, it's not true, it didn't happen. Like, no one's going to look at it and go, oh, really? Oh my God, then the post must be false.
No, it's not going to happen. Now it takes 2 to tango, right? 2 to fight. They if your response is no response and to protect your peace, and it's a totally different feel to it.
No response and no reaction is a response.
There you go.
We talked about reaction versus response. No reaction is a response.
Is a powerful response, really.
Mike, I don't miss anybody that I've cut out of my life.
Nice.
I don't miss anybody that I've cut out of my life. And even recently, I removed a good friend out of my life for different reasons, not in regards to the divorce. But I was just like, we can't rock it no more. You don't connect with my values.
Right.
And it is what it is, and we're going to move on. And people are like, yeah, but you two, like, you know, when you see, like, we're best friends when I'm sending you like 14 reels a day. This was a 14 reeler.
Right.
But I don't miss the friendship.
You share with me. I do enjoy those.
So I don't miss that friendship because the line was crossed. I love the person, and I got to be clear, I have no hatred for anybody. I want to see everybody eat, just not necessarily at my table.
There you go.
You know, so when you learn these things, again, you have to be the anti-Wheeler Walker. That song, like seriously, that song stopped me from posting so many things because I was like, I feel understood. Right? And like the chorus goes, fuck you, bitch. You broke my heart. Fuck your friends for tearing us apart. Fuck your dog. Hope he never comes home. Fuck you, bitch. Hope you wind up alone.
Wow.
Release her with love, but listen to that song because it works on your mental health. It does, because it gets everything out that you're feeling, and it'll stop you from doing stupid shit.
Now we can't, that's part of the response sometimes, right? Is to take that huge energy and instead of going destroyer, to go builder, go for a walk, go for,
Go
build
to the gym, have a workout.
Don't punch the
Fuck it,
wall.
have a shot of whiskey.
Here you go. Don't punch. You punch a wall if you're by yourself, I guess, if you want. But get a punching bag. Do some boxing. Do some kickboxing. Something that's going to strengthen you.
But the more that you give into shit, the more that it ends up going against you. And again, she knows your triggers. And a big mistake that guys do is like, well, we spent so much time together. Like, how could she do this? Because she's focused on winning. You're focused on, well, things should be. No. She wants out. From that moment she told you she wasn't happy, she was planning life without you. She was building her divorce business.
Yep. Absolutely.
And how do you go out and gain an advantage on your opponent? You know everything about them and you use their weakness against them.
In a business-like manner. Not using the rage and the.
Well, they can use the rage, right?
You can direct it, just like Tony Robbins said. You can consciously direct that. Because he about anger being good for folks if they can consciously direct it.
If you're smart about it. Like, I'll give you an example, okay? I had someone call, and again, I will change certain information so that like you don't have the exact story of it.
Right.
But I had somebody call in and be like, I just want to take my ex to court for XYZ reason. I'm like, all right. I'm like, have you had a discussion with your ex about XYZ topic? Oh no, man, like that bitch, like she controls the conversation. She like, never wants to listen, starts screaming this and that. Nah, 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 nah. Fuck it, I want to go through a lawyer. I'm like, all right, here's the lawyer fees. What do you mean it's so fucking expensive? Well, control your shit. Try to have a talk with her. Control the triggers, control the insanity, control the text, stay on target. One of the things when I look at a law firm to work with is what are the lawyer's approach to the matter, right? If I'll only work with attorneys that are solution-based attorneys.
Love that.
You know, one of the things that I often say, like whenever I'm negotiating anything, it's like, I want to make sure if that client is the right fit for the law firm I'm working with. Because if you come in and it's like, I want to clean the motherfucker out, or I want to make the bitch pay, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, find another law firm.
Right.
But if you want to have a solution, if you want to have good co-parenting, if you want to, you know, do it the right way, then yeah, I'd love to have you as a client. And the reason why I do that, the reason why the law firms I work with instill that, is because if we get fucking Mr. or Mrs. Crazy Pants as a client, and they have a 2-hour session with their attorney, right? And think about it, right? We've spoken about this. Look at yourself as a rechargeable battery, right?
Yep.
So my attorneys come in fresh every morning at 100%, ready to rock and roll. You get psycho fuck pants to come in for a 2-hour meeting.
It drains the battery really.
Then they're down to like 60%. And then, you know what, Mike? You show up for your meeting and you have an attorney at 60%. You're not paying 60% of the fucking attorney rate.
You're paying the full fee.
So it's, you know, so the law firm has to make sure that they're protecting the energy level of their attorneys and not just fucking signing anybody coming off the street.
That same principle goes for coaching too, Gio. It goes for coaching too, you know. And I'm sure you're just like I am. We're not just going to coach Joe Blow. That's crazy Joe. That, you know, we want somebody that's coachable, that says, hey, I'm struggling. What can I do? And then we have a conversation and we say, hey, this is some pointers. This is what you can do. This is your next step. And then they take it and then they go, oh, hey, that worked.
Yeah, because you know what happens when you get psycho fuck pants as a client?
It's a nightmare.
Gets their bill and wonders why it's 4 times the amount that it should be.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, hold on a second. First of all, it took us 6 meetings to decide a strategy.
To finally get there.
Where it should have taken 1.
Yep.
In the meantime, you're trying to negotiate backdoor with your ex, fucking whatever plan that you're trying to put in with your attorney. And then there's no chance at resolution because throughout all this, you sent a fuck you bitch text and got yourself arrested for a protective order.
Because of temporary insanity. We gotta fill that in, right?
So then what happens is that whenever your phone number shows up, you know, on your attorney or on my phone, it's like it's an eye roll because it's like, what the fuck did you do now?
Yeah, they go, oh gee, yeah.
Wow. Right? So psycho fuck pants can go with the attorneys that like to deal with psycho fuck pants, because you know what they do? Those are the ones that go after the money.
Yeah.
I'd rather refuse a client, protect the mental health of the attorneys I work with, protect my own fucking mental health.
Beautiful.
Why? Because we have a law firm full of clients that all deserve the same service. Now imagine, take it a step further, Mike, you're a new client at the law firm, right?
Yep.
Or no, sorry, you're an existing client at the law firm and you're going for trial. Now you need your attorney to be on point.
On point, yeah.
But the week before trial, I signed psycho fuck pants. And that attorney who's going to represent you at trial gets psycho fuck pants. Do you want this unknown psycho fuck pants that you don't even know who the hell they are draining your attorney's energy?
Hell no. No. Now, I as a client am probably not going to know that.
You won't.
I won't know that. But having someone like you, Gio, that can help protect that from happening is like huge.
Yeah. Because those who are organized, those who are logical, those who control their triggers, control their text, control their temper, deserve to have the best possible attorney in their corner.
So
and
true.
not for nothing, and I'm gonna say this, and I know we have to wrap up, but there's a couple of things. First of all, I see so many posts where people hate their lawyer. There's two things I want you to look at. What did you actually do to select your attorney? Did you go for the cheapest fucking one? All right? And are you trying to armchair quarterback your attorney? Right? Because your attorney's not a marionette. You can't shove your hand up their ass and make them talk with whatever it is that you want them to say. You can't. You went to Google University. They went to a real university.
Yeah.
Let them do their damn job. So, if you're pissed at your lawyer, there's a lot to look at yourself in the mirror for. The second thing is, are you helping yourself? Are you somebody who's manageable, who's coachable, who is going to follow the guidelines? Because you don't know the law. They do.
Exactly.
James Sexton, who is a popular divorce lawyer on social media, has a lot of posts on TikTok, talks about even a case where he was forced to represent somebody and hope to God that the other attorney, the other attorney was brand new, not enough experience. And all they needed to do was present a piece of evidence the right way. And James was going to lose the case, and he wanted to lose the case. But because the other person did not have the experience to introduce the evidence, got blasted, James won, and like he was representing a piece of shit.
Wow.
So you have to be careful when you're picking your attorney.
Absolutely.
I'm slowly getting out of the divorce coaching game. I'm focusing on working with law firms. Very exclusive that I will work with people from now on, because I found that too many people are coached by too many people and have like these unrealistic expectations.
Right.
So, I find that I'm having a bigger impact in the world in this group, which I'm going to continue, but also working with law firms to better their client experience.
So good. Now, where are we? We're probably, oh geez, yeah, we are like 42, 43.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up in 2 minutes. 45 minutes, I think, is our standard.
It's about what we do. I just wanted to jump in real quick. I've seen I've gotten some fuel over this past week, some comments from folks. One from Adam that said, when things get dark, I love this group. You keep doing what you're doing, Mike Mack. In other words, he's feeling like it's a safe place in the group, which is what we want. And so that was fuel for my soul. Okay.
Why we do this, guys? We're here because we want to share experiences. We want to give you the tips and tricks. And, just the topic of this show can save you $15,000 in legal fees.
Don't react. Respond.
And
not reacting is a response.
Absolutely. So when you get that fuck you bitch moment, listen to the song instead of texting.
Bingo.
It's good therapy for your soul. It stops you from making a stupidity.
I love it.
Don't send the song to your ex. Listen to it and keep that shit for yourself.
It's for you, for your eyes, your ears only, for your therapy.
Absolutely. So, hopefully, I always have a blast with you, Mike, with our shows and everything that we try to provide. Hopefully, to the ones listening to this, it's having a positive impact on you. If you need any help, message us. We'll be more than happy to answer you. Like I said, I'm still in the group. I'm providing coaching within the group. If anybody needs anything, we're both there. But control the rage, man.
especially. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just roll the rage.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
everyone, thank you for tuning in. Mike, brother, I love you. Always a great time.
I love you too, bud. I appreciate you. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and we see you next week, same time, same station.
Yes, sir.